Yeah, let me know where you are now.
Um, yeah, okay. So like we talked about last time we met, I think I had been like delaying or like I
Mhm.
make decisions based out of fear. And over the weekend, so Eduardo and I had made plans to go out to Colorado together. And
Mm,
we did. We were out there, but I have not told anyone in my family that like we've been spending time together since we broke
yeah,
up like a year and a half ago.
right.
And it's been like a point of conversation for us to because he's like, "Yeah, I just like feel like I'm a secret and I don't really like that." And my
Yeah,
hesitation with it is because it's really, like, because of my kids. Like, I just, like, don't wanna put them through anything else, and, like, I don't know if we're gonna, like, I was like, "Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna, like, be together, if we're gonna work out," and I'm just, like, not willing to, like, put my kids through that anymore. So, it had been a point of conversation, like, months ago, and we hadn't really addressed it again. And then when we
yeah,
were out there, I was talking to my parents on the phone, a few times, and they thought I was there alone, which doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good to lie to people or even like lie by omission.
right.
Um, so that didn't make me feel good anyway, but he was hearing the conversation. My mom's like, "Oh, like be safe if you're hiking alone." And, my dad's like, "Well, how does that work? Like, what do you do for dinner?" And it was just like this whole thing about like me being there alone. So I was like,
Yep.
"Oh shit, this is gonna be bad, you know?"
Yeah.
And yeah, so it did um open up the door for that conversation to like be started again. And he was just like, "Yeah, so your whole family thinks you're out here alone." And um I just said like, "Yeah, I just feel like us breaking up is inevitable." And I've been thinking a lot about like, yeah, do am I making like decisions based on fear of like being alone? Like, are we just together even though this like doesn't work and we're like really I just feel like not stable and it's not like a healthy relationship. But do we just
Mhm.
like stay together because we're I don't know, like dependent on each other and like just like scared to move on or
Yeah.
um so yeah, I mean it didn't end well and he ended up leaving early to come back to Chicago and I ended
Mm,
up leaving like a day. He left Saturday, I left Sunday, and we were supposed to stay through Monday, but and that made me like frustrated because I remember how I told you like how much work it was for me to get somebody to watch the kids.
yeah. So much work.
So much, and that made me upset because I was like, I put so much into this, and I could have stayed by myself, and I debated that, but I had stayed like 1 full day by myself, and I was like, I just don't want to, like, sit in this and, like, be here,
Yeah.
I guess, like, alone and, um
Mm.
yeah, so then sorry, I'm gonna get a tissue.
Tears are welcome.
What's that?
Tears are welcome here.
So yeah, so I came home. I just said to my family and stuff like, "Oh, I just, like feel satisfied with the things that I've done." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm just like good to come home." And I mean, it didn't cost me anything to fly home early, I just changed my flight or whatever. So it was um so yeah, so then I came home and then was feeling like really just like my body, like I could tell I was like feeling like super anxious and like stressed. And then that's when like I reached out because I'm like, yeah, is this because it's like so hard for me to like sort through my feelings, which I'm like, is that like a answer in itself? But I'm like, do I feel that way because it's like change and it's like I have to like let go, or do I feel like that because like I should stay? But then I'm like, we've been through this like dance so many times.
Right. And Sarah, can I reflect something you said when you were sharing back?
Mhm.
You said that you haven't been honest with your family. You've been keeping this a secret. And that's every time you're doing that, even by omission, it's pulling you out of integrity of who you want to be.
Yeah.
So, what if that is information of for you to say, okay, if I'm having to hide this, is that really something I want to continue? Because it's literally every time you have to do that, in whatever degree you have to do it, it's pulling you out and it's causing disharmony inside of you.
Yeah. I mean, it 100% is. Like, it makes my stomach's been hurting more,
Yeah.
and then when I talked to Eduardo about it, he's like, "Yeah, but I understand that." But he's like, I guess his view is that, like, he's done a lot of work on himself in the last, like, year. I mean, things were not good with, like, the whole guy from this like, the gym situation. That was, bad, but I
Right.
know he's worked on himself to try to change, and, um he's when we talk about it, like when we talked about it months ago, he's like, "Yeah, I don't need to be like a I'm not asking to be a part of your life again, like with the kids, but just saying like when you're going out to dinner or you're going somewhere, even to just say like, yeah, I'm hanging out with Eduardo, like we're hanging out, like we're not like serious, we're taking it slow or whatever." But he's like,
Right.
but just not lie about it and like say like I'm going with a girlfriend, or and I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I mean, part of me is like, is it just like in my head that I'm making it like a bigger deal? Because if he's not like around the kids, then why is it a big deal for me to be like, yeah, like I'm going with Eduardo? But I know when we ended things a year and a half ago, and my oldest daughter was like, yeah, I texted the other kids to see. This was like one of the only frank conversations I had with her about it. But,
Yeah.
she's like, "Yeah, I texted the other kids just to see, like, how they felt about it," and they were like, "Yeah, I'm glad he's gone."
Oh,
Yeah.
and what does that say for you in hearing that a year and a half ago and you've been keeping a secret since then? What does that bring up for
Mhm. I mean, I guess guilt
you? Guilt,
and
guilt, what do you, yeah, say more.
and I guess I had always said to him and, like, to myself, like, I'll always pick my kids over a man, which I will.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, yeah, am I holding true to that? If they were like, "Oh, I'm glad he's gone," but and I know which of the kids would say that and which ones wouldn't. But then I'm also like, yeah, or would they like anybody? Like is it him? I mean, I know there were things that he did that like I was like, yeah, that like I don't agree with that. It's just like totally different like style than how I run my household. And it's just like so complicated when you have kids and you're dating, because it's like, I mean, are
Yeah.
they gonna like anybody? Like, I don't know.
Right. But how does that feel for you to have to compartmentalize yourself like with Eduardo? Because it's like you have to, that's separate from the kids. Like it's like you have to keep putting yourself in these boxes in order
Right.
to showing up
That
for you.
doesn't feel good.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think that was like that specifically is what led to me being like, because he kept saying like over the weekend, like, so do you really think like this is like not fixable? And I'm like, I'm not saying like that I was planning on being like, yeah, I want to end things right now, but I just feel like it's inevitable because you can't really be like a full part of my life. And like, don't you want to be with somebody that is like fully, like, you guys are fully in each other's lives? Like, I can only give you like such a small like part.
Right. But Sarah, don't you want somebody that could be in your life in whatever capacity that looks like with kids more than Eduardo could because of the situation?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, 100% for me too. I was like, yeah, I mean, I know part of me has to like accept maybe I would like never meet somebody, but and like I have to like be okay with that. But yeah, do I want to spend like the rest of my life being really like segmented, like with like, okay, this is my family time and then this is my time with you, but like those times can't like overlap, you know? And like what does that look like when, especially because my oldest daughter is the one that, really doesn't like him because she knows like more of the details, but what does that look like if she has kids and she wants me to take care of them and it's like 20 years in the future, and if he and I stay together and we live together or something, like, is she going to want to bring her kids over? Like, what is that? I don't know.
Well, and our brains will go so far out into the future, taking us out of the moment. So
Mm-hmm.
you've been gathering a lot of information from what you've shared is you've been having to hide the relationship and you've been staying with him out of fear of being alone. And it doesn't feel good to segment yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, what I'm hearing is you're in the discomfort of honoring what your truth is, and it's really freaking uncomfortable because now there's this huge space that Eduardo built, even if it was even just part of your time.
Yeah. And I guess it was like less like physical time and more like emotional,
Mm,
like what he offered emotionally.
mm. So, what did he offer emotional for the emotional support? Because it sounds like that's the void that we're working to support right now and bridge.
Um, I guess just like, I mean, being like a person who is like in your corner, and
Hmm.
like always listens and is there and like knows like the ins and outs of like what's going on in like day-to-day life and stuff.
Yeah. And would it be supported to be with all the tears that are here to ask your body what that support was like for you, to see what you're calling in?
Hmm.
Okay, so let's do the muse method real quick. You can hold the tissue. You get to do whatever is supportive for you, Sarah.
Okay.
Go ahead and bring your hands to make contact. Close your eyes and move your hands until they can sink into all the emotions that are here, where that emotion feels like it's really loud in your body. Let your hands move there and move into that place. And now, as you're breathing life into the waters that are here, let the waters be here to support you, to remind you that you matter. And now, as you're connecting with what's here, just expand into whatever way that looks like for you right now in your body, beyond your body. There's no wrong way, there's your way. So just be with it all and just connect and expand. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions when we're nearing the end. And as you keep connecting, Sarah, just allowing all those in your life that have ever touched you, impacted you, supported you, imagine they are all standing in a ring outside of you. And you are just breathing in their support. That can also include the Mother Earth. So just breathing in all the support that's there for you. Now let's just ask your muse. Take a moment to ask your muse, what emotional support do I need? What emotional support do you need, Sarah? Just notice what's arising in your body. And just take another breath here. And then you can keep your eyes closed, or you can, if there's anything that came up that you want to share, you can begin to share.
I mean, the the feeling that came up is just like, I guess, just being like with the emotion, like the support that I need is just like being okay to be like in the, I guess, like the sadness and the fear.
Mhm. Being with it. So maybe let's with it for a moment. Let's practice some of the movements to move those emotions through your body to see if there's any other messages they might have for you. So you
Okay.
name sadness first. So let's be with the sadness. We're going to do the reverence stance where you bring your hands to your heart and you just kind of close your eyes again and just kind of gaze down and just maybe check in with your body. How might I deepen and support my needs? So, how might you, Sarah, deepen in and support your needs? Let me know if anything is arising.
The, I mean, the feeling that arises is, or like the thoughts are just like kind of like enveloping myself and like the feelings of like love and support that
Hmm.
I would, you know, want to and provide to others if, like with these feelings.
So what kind of love and support would you give to others when they're in this space?
Mm, I guess just like supportive listening and just like being in the feelings.
Hmm. So supportive listening and being in the feeling. So would you be willing to give yourself a little bit of time? You're doing that right now. So first of all, I want to celebrate you for acknowledging you are already doing it through our time together.
Mm-hmm.
But if you need more after our session's complete, would you be willing to create some space for you to do that? To maybe take a walk in nature and voice some of this. It can be in a
Mm-hmm.
whisper out loud and just be that presence of listening to what's arising.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else that might support you in reminding you and enveloping you in that love and support?
I think just like staying with connected to the people that do like know like the ins and outs of what's going on, which really is like two people. And I got together with my girlfriend yesterday
Okay.
um to talk about it.
Oh, yay.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you notice in having that space to stay, that you were staying connected with the people that know the ins and outs? What did you notice yesterday in sharing?
Less heaviness in my body.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I mean at the end of it she's like, "Yeah, I feel like we didn't like come to any sort of like resolution or like, I mean, we didn't solve anything." And but I said, "Yeah, I don't, I mean, I I don't
Mhm.
even need to solve it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have like your own thoughts and stuff, but yeah, to like kind of bounce them off somebody else and to get like another view is helpful.
Right. But what if it's not about solving anything? There isn't anything to solve right now. It's just you need somebody to witness the pain that you're in.
Mhm.
And as soon as like you created that space, you asked for support. So another thing I want to celebrate because that's been something that you're like, I don't have support. You asked for the support you needed and you received it yesterday. And you felt
Mhm.
less heavy. You lighten
Yeah.
that load because part of like what you're also naming sadness is water, but you're naming this fear. So fear is air, right? But it's also a little bit of earth. So it like kind of brings you down, right? And you
Mhm.
feel heavy. So by connecting, that's how we move some of that earth energy out of us,
Mhm.
out less heavy. So you're doing the things, Sarah, you are moving these emotions.
Mhm.
And I wonder where do you feel like right now in your life you can breathe and expand more? Because the fear wants you to stay stuck in your room, hiding, isolating.
Where could I expand more? Um,
Even just breathe more. Either one.
yeah, I think just acknowledging and allowing myself to like have the feelings that I have. And
Yeah.
um I guess sharing them, like being open with myself when I feel them and sharing with others, like when the people that I'm close with instead of running from them. Which I
Wow.
have like, periods of time where I'm like open and then I'm like, okay, like I need like a little break.
And that's okay. Good job
Mhm.
listening. That's what you're listening to what your body needs. You're doing it and then you're like, and I need a break. I need to go now. I need to digest all of this.
Mhm.
It's a lot to be vulnerable, especially when you
Mhm.
have a time of shoving down your emotions.
Mhm.
So let's do a little bit of movement. Open up those arms or whatever feels good to like open up your body. So whatever that motion looks like, and just see what that feels like in your body to just open it up and take up more space and not contract and shrink down and stay stuck in the fear. And if this fear had a message for you, what might it say as you're opening up now into all of you and you're not segmenting yourself anymore? If this had a message for you, what might it want you to know?
I think that
Mm.
it would like as much as it hurts right now, being able to like function and operate like as like a whole person in all aspects of my life would be so much better than like how I've been.
Yeah.
But it's gonna take work and some pain to get there.
And would it be supportive for you to have a little like practice, a little ritual tonight, maybe lighting a candle to kind of say goodbye and like grieve the loss because grieving is hard because sometimes we hold on to things and we don't even know we're holding on to them. So that can look like lighting a candle, that can look like taking a bath, that can look like taking a walk in nature, that can look like anything you want it to be. There's no limitation.
Mhm. Yeah, well, that would be. And I think that part of me is scared that I won't have the willpower to not open myself back up to
Mm,
that relationship.
that relationship with Eduardo or with somebody
Yeah,
else?
with Eduardo. Like I have a fear that it's kind of like, which I said to him, it's kind of like when you're like addicted to something and you know it's like bad and it's like not healthy for you, but you still keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about like how our relationship has been. And when I met with my girlfriend yesterday, she's like, "Yeah, I truly thought like a year and a half ago when you guys broke up and it was really bad that it was like really done. Like, cause you were like, yeah, I'm done. You know, I'm totally done. Like the message he sent me was like so hurtful." And she's like, "I really did think that you were done." And then like a month passed and he reached out and was like, "I miss you." And she's like, "Yeah, it's like when somebody is addicted to smoking and you haven't like smoked for a month and then you just say, okay, like I'm just going to take like one drag and then bam, like you've just like opened up all the work that you've done to
Yeah.
like move on, you know?" And like I just wonder like what is wrong with me that I like know all this like logically and I know it and I like understand it, but like why can I not just like follow through? And I just like, yeah.
Well, let's look at where you were a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, I mean, we weren't working together. You didn't have
Mm-hmm.
this, and you were really uncomfortable with the void of being alone. And so Eduardo swoops in and says, I misses you. And you're like, oh, thank God, I don't have to do this alone. But now, fast forward a year and a half later, you're in a place where you're prioritizing and valuing yourself. You're connecting to yourself and you're filling up that space. You're taking up more space. So rather than something's wrong with you or you're broken, what if before you didn't have the support in place to do the hard thing and choose you? And since then, you have gathered the support you needed to continue to choose what you desire. Does it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely different now from that time for sure. I mean, I am different and I guess it's like I am different, but then if, you know, I even like you and I were working together when everything kind of blew up with the guy from the gym, which was in April. So that was like 5 months ago.
Right.
And I like reflect back and I'm like, that would have been the time that I should have said, like, okay, like enough's enough, you know, but I still stuck it out. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I didn't just use that as like a point of,
Where rather than burying yourself with the question of why, because that's what why is a very small question. It gets us nowhere. What else is
Mhm.
possible? Because I have a knowing that 5 months ago, you still weren't yet in the place to fully advocate for yourself. And Eduardo was meeting a need that you didn't know how to express or to receive from somebody else.
Mhm.
And it isn't wrong. Yes, but what you actually did 5 months ago, Sarah, so let's celebrate. You gathered a lot of information about the situation and you gave your logical brain more evidence that that relationship is not actually supportive for you. You went back to it because maybe you needed a little bit more proof. It's not wrong. What
Mhm.
happens is when we have awareness and we don't act, we lose the momentum to act because you give your brain the chance to catch up. So what
Mhm.
happened is that awareness with Eduardo, you didn't act, and then your brain caught up and you're like, oh shit, here I am. I'm still here. Oh well, I've lost all the energy I had behind it initially. So I'm gonna just stay.
Yeah.
Now you're like, I have this awareness. I said the hard thing. I'm going to choose differently because I have a lot of evidence that proves that it's not the right relationship for me. Just with Sarah, just with the fact that you had to segment yourself. You
Mhm.
had to be out truly want to it you felt sick every time. Your body was like, stop, Sarah, no more. I feel sick. I can't keep doing this.
Mhm.
Over the last year and a half, you were gathering a lot of evidence, and that's you moving it from your head into your body. And now you're ready to act differently. It was interesting though. You said there's part of you that fears that you won't open up to Eduardo again. I'm like, what? I'm confused. Oh, it was interesting. And I was like, wait, do you want to open up to Eduardo again? I'm confused.
Wait, just now I said that?
Yeah, just a minute ago you said that. I
Well,
was like,
no, I guess maybe I didn't say it right, because my fear is that I will allow myself to open my like, back up to the
oh,
possibility of us working things out.
so what did that create for you in the past by staying open to being in relationship with him in the last year and a half? What did that create for you? It created something. It's not wrong.
I think it allows me to, like, still feel like I have, the person, like, I'm, like, their number 1, and I'm, like, their person, and they're in my corner, and it's like, we know each other, and it's comfortable in most ways, and he's also been willing to accept, like, the little that I have to give. Because even if, he and I never talk again, and I'm alone for a year or whatever, and then I meet someone, that's gonna have to be somebody that's willing to be with somebody that has so little to give, because I
Correct.
just, like, don't have the time, like, just even looking at my schedule for, like, the next couple weeks, it's just like there's something every day.
Correct.
And I just don't have the time for someone in my life. And then, yeah, so I think it's just like, did I just open myself up to staying with him because he is willing to accept the little that I give, and, like, we already know each other, and he really is, like, willing. I mean, anything that comes up, he's like, "Yeah, as long as were together, I'm fine with doing whatever, like a bike ride or a concert or a movie or dinner, or like, it doesn't even matter." He's just like,
Right.
"Yeah, as long as we're together, I'm happy doing anything."
Right. So are
And I
you willing?
have Oh, no, go ahead.
No, what? No, no, no. You have what?
I mean, I acted in that moment, and that was it wasn't like I hadn't been thinking and feeling all those things for many months, because I had been. I just was finally honest with him about it. But since then I have, yeah, I mean, my brain just, like, questions everything. Like,
Ah.
yeah.
So are
Like,
you willing?
oh, but, like, think of, like, all the positives.
Yeah, our brains tend to romanticize things when somebody's out of our life because
Mhm.
you also said it was comfortable, but he treated you like shit and he didn't believe you or have your back with that whole gym situation.
Uh-huh.
Was that really what you want when you're stuck in the mud and you're down on the ground? Do you want somebody to kick you down further?
No, and I mean, yeah, that was really bad, and it's like, I totally agree that, like, yeah, we romanticize and we just, like, focus on the good things, and then when you're in it, you're like, "Oh my god, yeah, this is like, what was I thinking?"
Right,
Um, and I do, like, think of all the things that he's done that have been, like, not good, not
right.
good. And then, like, when he and I talked about it, he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I have done a lot of things that are, like, that have been really messed up and that are wrong, and I, will spend the rest of my life, like, making up for those if I can." And like, I don't know why you would want to leave now when things are actually like better.
And look at how your brain can start to rationalize it.
Mhm.
Are you willing to start to turn to your body? This is what we've been working on, but we're at the next layer now, Sarah.
Yeah.
Because you said your brain is starting to come up with all these stories. And it's gonna find whatever you're looking for. So you're looking for all the reasons why it was working, and your brain's gonna find them all. So rather than staying stuck in your brain, because your brain is going to do what it does. It's had a
Mhm.
lifetime of this. Thank you, brain. I love you, brain. This isn't working. I know the truth. That wasn't a healthy relationship for me. It had moments, but I don't want somebody that I'm just comfortable with, that I have to still segment myself with. So can you listen to my body? I've got your back. I'm going to keep us safe, but we're going to do it differently. We're going to listen to my body now. So
Mhm.
now can you look for where I am being emotionally supported, and how might I lean into those spaces a little bit more heavily right now? Like, you might have those two people and you might be like, "Hey, I'm going to be a little bit on steroids right now. I need a
Mhm.
little extra emotional support because I'm shifting a pattern. And I need this support right now because I don't want to go back to what felt safe and comfortable that actually kicked me when I was in the mud."
Yeah. And that has brought me a lot of pain and heartache over the last 6 years.
Right. Over the last 6 years, Sarah. So, what if all of that information is giving you, I want harmony? Like, that is one of the things you've said. You want harmony, but in order to have harmony, you have to honor what harmony feels like in your body, where there's ease, where you don't have to try, you get to be you.
Mhm.
Because one of the things you said with Eduardo is that he's willing to accept the little I have to give. I hear that in what you say about yourself, that you're willing to accept the little bit that you have to give to yourself. So even just being consistent with, like, connecting to yourself 3 times a day, that's been work, right?
Mhm.
And I wonder if you're being invited to receive more than just the little bit, than
Mhm.
just the scraps.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
It's about Eduardo, but it's not about Eduardo. It's about you. You want more. Is that true?
Yeah.
And what if all these emotions are now here to say, you are worthy of more? I want more too. Like your muse is saying, I want more too. That's why I am so sad right now, because I want to be supported and the support I had known is gone. So where can I be supported? Especially when the why question shows up. Show me where support exists.
Okay.
You're giving your brain a different task, right? It's now
Uh-huh.
really something else rather than more of what, because your brain is protecting and replicating. It wants to replicate everything you've known. You said it's been 6 years of
Yeah.
segment to some degree.
Well, and it like yeah, it's been a year and a half of like, totally like separate, but I feel like when we first met, I really did open myself up fully. And even like when I maybe wasn't like ready, but there was just like pressure because my ex-husband, I feel like was kind of trying to get in the kids' heads of like
Mm,
poisoning them a little bit. And so I felt like pressure to welcome Eduardo like into our like lives more quickly than I would have wanted to, like
wow.
within a few months, whereas I would have like waited, but I wanted them to like form their own opinions.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, I feel like I did that and it just burned me, and it was just never enough. I mean,
Right. But look at the foundation your relationship started on. You had these outside influences that were pressuring you to do something that was not what you actually wanted and what you knew to be best for the kids and for your
yeah.
family. So, what if all of that happened so that this next time, whenever that might be, you follow your pace?
Mhm.
Because even with your ex, you've had to set some clear, deeply honoring practices with him and say, let's keep it on the up and up. Nope, we ain't going there.
Mhm.
So, like, there's
Mhm.
been big shifts in you because you've been advocating for yourself of honoring yourself and respecting yourself and not ignoring or minimizing things.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and I don't know like what your thoughts are on this, but my aunt that I'm close with, she had talked to me like a year ago about how she uses like a pendulum, like a crystal
Mhm.
pendulum to make decisions. And so yesterday I went to the store in Libertyville and
Right.
I spoke with the woman there, and asked her like just to give me guidance on using a pendulum. I wish I could talk without crying. Sorry.
What if we just let the tears be there because the tears are like you matter and what you love matters. As soon as you start talking about trusting your own inner knowing, the tears come. That's what I saw. Because it's nothing outside of you. The pendulum works on your energy. It's based on you.
Right. Yeah, so when I went in there, I she like showed me the different ones and she's like, which one like speaks to you? And I picked the one like the rose quartz or whatever, and she was like, oh, that one is about like love and like loving yourself, and which I thought was like so interesting.
Of course.
Yeah. And there was only one of those, and I actually don't like the color pink. It's not, I'm more of like a, yeah, like earthy tones type person. And so it was just interesting that I picked pink, and I don't know like that much about that stuff. So I just like picked it because that was the one that was like, I don't know, just like stood out to me the most. And she's like, oh, that one's about like loving yourself and like relationships, like either with yourself or with others in any capacity. And I was like, wow, that's like really interesting.
Yep.
And then I brought it home, and and she went over like how to use it, and I did look stuff up, and it was like, yeah, I mean there's like no scientific basis to this. It is just like based on your energy, but which I found really interesting because when I asked it like 10 questions, okay? And
Yes.
each time she's like, yeah, you have to like reset it with this cell light, or I think that was what it was called, but she's like, yeah, you have to like reset it and then ask the question. But I asked it 10 questions. Um and every question it was like, like, should I consider going back with Eduardo? And like I said, like, and I always changed it, like yes is a circle, no is back and forth or whatever. And every question I asked did not support me entertaining anything to go back with Eduardo. And I know that like, yeah, that's just my energy putting that, into that, what it's doing. So I'm like,
Right.
clearly my energy is saying like, no, like don't even consider it,
Right.
because I must
Yeah.
have asked 10 different questions in each in a different way. And every time it was like, you know, am I
Yeah.
going to be unhappy if I go back with Eduardo? Yes. Should I? I mean, really. And I asked it like in a different way every time. So I'm like,
Right.
the universe is like pointing me clearly, and myself, like everything is pointing me in the direction to just like completely move on.
Right. But you may need to give your body and your brain more evidence. So you may need to do those practices like giving yourself the proof because it's pulling from your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is like, "No, but I should go back. Oh no, I'm standing in my pile of shit again." All the stories, right? Your subconscious
Mhm.
mind is like, "No, I deeply care about you. I know what is best for you. Can you just listen?" And this is a tool to help you to discern what your body is telling you because your brain is taking over. It's not wrong, but you're giving your brain a task. Would it support me to go back with Eduardo? Hell no.
Mhm.
Ask the pendulum. Show me my yes. Show me my no. Ask the pendulum yes, no questions. We've done the body pendulum, but physical
Mhm.
pendulums are awesome because
Mhm.
sometimes we need to see it physically.
Mhm.
Good job following. Like, I'm celebrating you for doing that. And this is you building more evidence for your brain. Because your energy, your subconscious mind is telling you, it's directing you. So now are you willing to trust in this unknown that you can't see, that your brain doesn't know what's coming? Because your brain is scared because it wants what's known and familiar. That's all your brain wants.
Yeah.
So going into this place, you're like, well, I don't know what's coming. Right. Keep going.
That's like exactly. Yeah.
What's coming up as I said that? Because it brought up a lot of tears as I said that.
No, I think that's just like spot on. I think it's just, yeah, it's like the fear of the unknown is it's like a big deterrent from me. I mean, I think it was like a big deterrent for me being willing to like walk away from that relationship or even like entertain that idea
Right.
or to talk openly with Eduardo about how I was feeling.
Yeah. But Sarah, let's look back at your history. When have you trusted in the unknown? I mean, I know, for example, with your divorce, you got divorced. You trusted that you were making the right choice. That wasn't, you didn't know where you were fully going. You just knew you were getting out of that. Right.
Yeah. And I
So where,
think about that because then I'm like, yeah, I didn't know, but I guess I was so done with the relationship that I'm like, it doesn't matter if I don't know because I'm done with this. And then
right.
that's when my brain like kicks in and then I'm like, well, but that's not how you're feeling now. So if you're questioning it so much, does that mean that you shouldn't leave this relationship? Because clearly, I mean, I mean, leaving the marriage with a, 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 8, 10. I mean, it was a lot, but I was like, yeah, I have to do this.
Right. But you had children before that you were doing it for as well. You're doing this for you. So your brain is going to come up with any excuse it can to keep you comfortable and safe in the familiar. Because this is for you, Sarah,
Uh-huh.
for your kids. But it has a more direct impact for you than the kids because he hasn't been in their life for the last year and a half.
Right.
So are you willing to keep choosing you, even if you don't know what that means yet?
Yeah. And I mean, I want to, and I'm like, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, if I'm being like totally honest and I think about it, and like if he were to text me and be like, I love you so much, I don't want to lose you, like, would I have the strength to follow through? I don't know.
So I'm curious, what would support you so that if that does come through, like, is there a way that you could support yourself? Because what I hear is that Eduardo's energy is really strong and it has a tether to you and it pulls you back in. So I don't know if it's blocking his number. I don't know if it's, and I know that feels harsh, but
Yeah.
what I'm about right now is supporting you. And maybe at a later date you can unblock his number, but right now what you need is to advocate for what you need to stand your ground.
Yeah.
Because you are susceptible to go back because it is known and your brain has all the shoulding stories. So I'd invite you to notice when you're shoulding on yourself because you said should. Should I go back? That's where your brain takes over. You're standing in a pile of should.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's not it.
I
So what
know.
So what
I don't,
if, and
yeah,
I,
I mean, truly, I don't know why I like don't have, because my girlfriend yesterday was like, yeah, you just need to have like no contact so that you can
right,
have your own thoughts that aren't
correct,
influenced
correct,
by like not even like he's forcing his thoughts on me, but just like our energy together, and
correct.
our past and just all of our like experiences, like our shared experiences together. And it's just like I can like recognize there were so many things even leading up to that conversation for months where I was like, this like really irritates me. Like I don't like this in a partner. And I can still like see those and like still recognize it. But I'm like, is that just like something that's wrong with me? Like, am I just
What if that's your body talking? So think about like when you hear people harmonize, you go to concerts all the time. When you
uh-huh.
hear harmonize, it sounds beautiful. But if somebody isn't in the harmony, right, then it's like, ooh, it's kind of jarring. So what if you being in a relationship to Eduardo is like that? It's the jarring feeling of like, this isn't it. How can I look for where I can find harmony, where there's ease?
Yeah. And I've thought about that, but then, and it's not like, okay, I mean, I said, because it's like, yeah, I mean, I have thought about that, but then I think to myself, like, I know that our problems are not just from him. Like, I know that I'm like a big part of the problem. So then I'm like, am I just going to have those same issues with someone else? Not the same, like, because he, brings his own issues to the table, but like, I'm not like the easiest partner, like I'm not like I don't have a lot of time. I'm not like that like
Awesome.
super emotionally like available all the time.
Cool. What if we stop making that wrong, Sarah? What if you just start to honor, okay, this is what I have. This is what I have for relationship capacity. You're not looking for relationship in this moment. Right now, you're looking for being in relationship with yourself.
Mhm.
So I wonder if it would support you anytime the thoughts start to spin with Eduardo. Do the pendulum to give your brain the evidence, and then do the muse method because what your body's longing for is connection. And you're so used to seeking that connection outside of you that this doesn't feel like it's enough right now because you're like, it's not the same. You're right, it's not the same. But this is a way where you are going to be more empowered to keep honoring you.
Yeah.
Does that resonate? Like to
Yeah,
do
it
that,
does.
even
Uh-huh.
if it's only seconds.
And even in like just the time, of this week where Eduardo and I mean, we have texted back and forth. I mean, just talking about, yeah, our relationship and like the struggles that we've had. But just like the clarity of my thinking from now, from like the weekend, I can tell how much better it is. Because
Yeah,
like when it first, like when he left, and then it was just like, wow, I feel really sick, like
yeah.
physically.
Of course you
And
did.
yeah,
I say of course you did because now you're just in your own energy and you got to be with yourself fully and nobody else is there to hold any of it.
uh-huh.
So it was uncomfortable. The fact that you stayed Sunday is huge. And I wonder what it could have created if you stayed one more day like you had initially planned because you worked so hard to make that trip happen.
Yep.
We'll never know. You chose what you needed to choose. But it sounds like discontinuing conversation with Eduardo would support you to keep choosing whatever the next best thing is for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it would. And I mean, it makes me think even now, like, I mean, I haven't seen him since Saturday. And I mean, we've texted sporadically. Um, And so it's not like I've been functioning in a place like where I've been seeing him physically or where I feel like, he's in my corner because I mean, we're not like texting like, "Oh, I love you, I miss you," or anything. It's just like,
Right.
yeah, stuff that led up to that conversation. Which I mean, the conversation itself, it wasn't like bad. It wasn't like, oh, like anger and like yelling or anything. It just like didn't end well because it was like, okay, we just can't keep going like this, like this, just like this isn't sustainable.
Right.
Um, and then he was like, yeah, then I mean, there's just no point in me like staying here, like there's just no point. And so it wasn't like the conversation itself was bad, but like I'm trying to remind myself, like, look, like I haven't even seen him physically. And like, it's not like, oh, good morning, I love you, or like good night or anything. And I'm still okay. And there's just like this like slow untethering. It's like that's how I imagine it.
And what if you personally need to stop the tethering with any texting at this moment?
Mhm.
Because it pulls you right back in, and then your brain starts to come up with all those stories again.
Mhm.
So it kind of, and this may seem harsh, so I'm gonna name that, but it's kind of parasitic, like where like you're feeding off of one another, but
Yeah.
actually it's not actually feeding you.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
actually,
depleting. Yeah, it's like depleting us. Yeah.
and it's causing more suffering. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, well,
Or more doubt. Maybe it's doubt, like insecurity,
yeah,
whatever.
okay, yes. I think that's like where the dilemma is that I think it creates more doubt, and then I think to myself like, okay, I feel physically like less anxious and less like physically affected, I guess. And is that because I've gotten more emotional distance, or is that because I'm allowing myself to continue to talk to him? Like I don't know. I mean, because I like, am I doing that because it's like quieting those feelings of like anxiety and completely letting go?
And is that really meeting all of you, or is it just meeting the surface of, let me just ease the anxiety for this moment, but then long term it lingers and it's actually causing more pain and more.
Yeah. That's like, yeah, taking the band-aid off slowly, you know?
Right. What if you just rip off the band-aid and say, okay, I'm just going to let this wound heal? It's different than you've done before.
Mhm.
And then anytime you have an inkling to reach out to him or whatever it is, maybe you block him. I don't know. You have the answer. I'm not going to tell you what the right way is. You know what the right way is.
Mhm.
That's your invitation to ask the pendulum or to just do the muse method, and then maybe reach out to your support system, your two friends or me. So three
Mhm.
people you have in your corner right now that are here to say, keep going. Because already just by not having interact like person in person contact with him, your body's already found more ease.
Mhm.
It's telling you this is what you're going to create more of. So you might need to look back at where in your life in the past have you had this emotional support that you feel like you received from Eduardo, to build more evidence for your brain. Look at that. I created it before, even if it was just a little bit. And now look at where you have it now. Okay, show me where it is now. Okay, I have these two friends. Okay, how can I lean into them even more? How can I reach out
Mhm.
to Jenny when I'm feeling this? How show me how I can do that. So you're
Mhm.
directing your brain based on the wisdom of your body.
Yeah. Okay.
And Sarah, I'm just going to name it. For 5,000 years, women have been a commodity. We have been told that we need to be in partnership, that we are weak if we don't have partnership. So you doing this brave thing of choosing yourself and saying, I'm going to be by myself for right now and be in relationship to myself is radical.
Mhm.
And what you're doing, you're also showing your kids something new, a different way.
Yeah.
And you've already been doing that, but now you're doing it more because you're going to have more energy to overflow throughout the rest of your life. Because if you're segmenting yourself, if you were even just a little bit with Eduardo for the last year and a half, you are segmenting yourself with the children to some
Yeah.
degree. So now you will have more to give yourself and then overflow that to the children.
Yeah.
You said it was draining. So you kept giving from an empty cup.
Mhm. Okay.
So, what awarenesses are you taking from our time today?
Um, I don't know. I'm just taking it all in. It's a lot.
Mhm.
So I think just continuing to support myself in like what I've been doing because I mean it's I feel like I've been taking the steps to like move towards healing and I just need to continue to take those steps instead of allowing myself to go backward to what's comfortable and what my brain wants me to do because it is like known and comfortable. And
Yeah.
just being like aware of that and mindful that that's what's leading me to make those decisions is
Yeah.
like that fear of the unknown and taking a step into something that like I don't know where it's going.
Mhm. And maybe you need a question, Sarah. When the fear of the unknown gets really loud, okay, what's one inspired action step I can take right now? What's one step I can take today? Because the fear of the unknown is it makes it like you have to know the whole plan. That's what we've been told.
Yeah.
No, no, no. You just need to know the next best step. That's it. That's it. That's all you're looking for is the next best step. So what is one step I can take right now? Show me.
Mhm.
So like, wait, I don't want to interrupt your thought or what was going
No.
on. So what would
No.
be one action step you want to take in regards to Eduardo now knowing what you know? This is your awareness. You know that it's keeping you tethered by continuing the texting with him. And it's gently peeling off the band-aid. And
Yeah.
it's causing surface level ease, but it's not actually touching you deeply. So what's one action step you want to take with that?
I want to just say like I mean we just can't continue that. It's just not we're not neither of us is going to be able to like move on or
Okay.
start to heal.
Thank you, tears, for coming up again. Your tears are here to remind you that what you love matters. And you're saying the hard thing to show you that you love yourself enough to have your own back. How can you celebrate taking that action? What would be a way to celebrate you texting Eduardo and saying we need to stop texting? Whatever way you say that.
How can I celebrate? Was that what you
Yeah,
said?
how can you celebrate? Because that's a hard thing for you to like that's kind of like you ripping off the band-aid. So how are you going to celebrate you ripping off the band-aid?
I don't know. I don't know, because it's not gonna feel like I wanna celebrate it.
Nope, it's not. But would it feel good to meet up with one of those two friends and say, "Hey, let's have a glass of wine. I need to celebrate. I did the hard thing." To celebrate means I'm going to be here as a hot ball of mess crying in your lap. I
Uh-huh. I mean, truly, yeah.
know. And you can say that. Like, I just need to like honor, like celebrate this through having a glass of wine with you or whatever you do. Have a cup of coffee, tea, whatever
Yeah,
that is. But what you're doing is you're taking action to support yourself in doing the hard thing. That's how it's celebrating is you're taking action to support yourself in what you're doing.
yeah,
So you can even, Sarah, you can even text those friends first and say, "Hey, I'm gonna text Eduardo that we need to call. No more texting. Can we
yeah,
get together whenever that is? Set a date. Get it on the calendar because you are a priority. You know how
yeah,
much life does that resonate with you to do something like that to put a support system in place before you do the hard thing so that you know you
yeah,
can collapse into it.
yeah. No, it does, and I mean, my one girlfriend is not working, so, I mean, like, even
Hmm.
yesterday we got together, but I had just texted her the night before and said, "Hey, like, I really need to get together. Like, do you have
Oh
time?"
yeah.
And we just made it work, so, yeah, I feel like that's definitely possible.
Okay. So how does that feel for the step that you're going to take today after we get off is reaching out for your support so you know you have a place you can collapse into and then do the
Yeah,
hard.
uh-huh. I mean, it feels like a plan.
Okay.
Doesn't
Well,
make me happy or, like, excited about it.
no, but we're not
But,
looking
yeah,
for
it feels like a concrete plan.
cool. And feel free to text me after. You don't have to. It's an option for you to just make it more conscious of I did the hard thing. I chose me.
Yeah,
I honored my truth that I knew to be true over the last year and a half. And you get to bring whatever you bring after you when you're texting me. I feel even worse now. I whatever it is, that doesn't matter. It's you saying, I'm doing it and I feel like shit right now. It might feel like shit right now.
yeah,
I'm not going to sugarcoat it because it's hard to stand our ground. And when we're clear, we're kind. You're being very kind to yourself as well as to Eduardo.
mhm,
And having your support in place before you do the hard thing is really essential so that it gives you that courage to do the hard thing.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
alright.
Would there be anything that would feel good to end our time well together today?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah.
And then how are you feeling for our next session? I know we initially had something scheduled for next week, and I'm out of town the following week, so I don't know if you wanted to meet next week just because you're in it, or if you want to wait until after I get back.
Um, I would say, yeah, I'm good with keeping next week because then, yeah, things get a little bit crazy. And then I know we're scheduled to meet on the 23rd, but that one I just realized the kids have off of school.
We won't do it on the
Uh,
20th.
so,
Well, do you want to do next Thursday instead of Tuesday, or keep it for Tuesday?
oh yeah, I can do, yeah, next Thursday's good.
Okay, so Thursday I have available either at 10 a.m. or at like 12
Um,
or like in the afternoon, but I want to honor your time.
12 would be good.
Okay, so 11 at 9 11 at 12, and then I will update the calendar invite. And then what we could, how does, rather than the 23rd when the kids are off, we do Thursday the 25th as like the next one.
Okay, let me look.
And I could do 10:30, 11:30 that day. Maybe noon. And we can hold it tentatively and just, if it needs to be shifted, we can.
Yeah, let's say, could we say 11?
Yeah, 11 on the 25th. Okay. Just so we have them kind of in there. All right, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then feel free to text me after you do the hard thing. Feel free to text me when you're a hot ball of mess. Feel free to text me and say, oh my God, I feel so much lighter on the other side of this. Feel free to text me, whatever that it looks like. You get to be all
Mm-hmm.
of you here and you get to share it all.
Okay.
And then lean into your other support system, your other two friends, especially the one that doesn't work, because she has a little more space and time. Because
Mm-hmm.
as women, especially women like you and I that are really strong and resilient, we need a place where we can crumble, where we don't have our shit together all the time. So what
Mm-hmm.
you're advocating for that support, that you're calling in for the future of relationships. I want a place where I can crumble, where I don't have my shit together and I don't have to be strong and I don't have to do all the things. I just want to be whoever I am or whatever I am right now.
Yeah. Okay.
All
No, I
right.
mean, that's, yeah, because that gets tiring.
It's exhausting. You
Yeah.
know it. It's exhausting. We're not meant to have our shit together all the time. We are meant to have a place where we can soften and collapse.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the two, like you're one person, but you are kind of two parents. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a big role that you're trying to be both of those things, and that's already a lot. So you need that
Mm-hmm.
place. And we already know it's not your family, your blood family unit. You're cultivating your family with the people that
Mm-hmm.
you're choosing to crumble around.
Mm-hmm.
So I am celebrating you. And just so you know, if you still have interest, I have somebody that has a deposit down that can no longer come. So if you have any interest in the Firewalk Saturday, I'll just throw that out there. I know you said you have
Mm-hmm.
plans. Something
I
shifted.
know. I truly would really like to come, but yeah, I'm gonna be in Wisconsin at like a concert with
Oh,
my extended family.
oh, that'll be awesome. You'll be right where you need to be. But I will be holding you when we walk fire.
Yes. Oh, it sounds really cool.
You will be here with us in spirit.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then I'll plan to see you next Thursday at noon and then reach out with anything in between now and then.
Okay.
Like
I
lean in
will.
as much as you need to because you are filling this space with more of you and it's uncomfortable right now. So lean in as much as you need.
Mm-hmm.
I'm celebrating you, Sarah. You're doing it.
Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right.
it doesn't feel
Well,
good, but I mean, it doesn't feel good, which means like, yeah, it is like what has to happen.
well, you've had a lifetime of putting everybody else before yourself. So it's going to feel uncomfortable and different, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank
All right.
you.
Welcome.
Okay.
Have a good rest. I'll
All
see you
right.
next week. I'll text between now and then.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.